This episode of Southeast Iowa Today is brought to you by Griner Auto Body of Washington, Iowa. Using state-of-the-art techniques and decades of experience to get your car back on the road after an accident. Car Doctor of Washington, Iowa. No matter who Frankensteined it, they can fix it, clean it, and customize it. McDonald Boneyard of Keota, Iowa. For all your farm equipment and auto recycling needs. Hinshaw Trailer Sales of Richland, Iowa. You need a trailer? They've got your trailer, and they can fix what they sell and don't in their full-time repair shop. Gerling Repair of Winfield, Iowa. If your mower is dead, call Fred, your Husqvarna, Aaron's, and Gravely dealer. Fred also fixes and sells snowblowers. B&B Propane and the family of jet stops. Dutch Market and Coffee Talk of Washington, Iowa. Dutch Market can handle all of your grocery needs, and they even have a conference room you can use for free. Coffee Talk's drive-thru is open and ready to serve you coffee, energy drinks, sandwiches, baked goods, and ice cream. They all present the award-winning Southeast Iowa Today. Here's the author of Christie's Journey, The Beat Goes On, and your host, John Bain.
Thank you, announcer Cody Roy of NewEnglandDukes.com for your golden pipes and wonderful introduction. On this episode, there was so much to cover on the March 10th, 2025 Board of Education meeting for the Mount Pleasant School District that I broke it up in several episodes, several segments. And this episode features the presentation by the EL teachers who were in attendance that night, and were explaining that how the English Learners Program is going. Did you know that there are a lot of students in the Mount Pleasant School District? 45 students in Lincoln Harlan, 34 students in Van Allen, 24 students at the middle school, and 45 students in the high school. And there are 15 languages represented between all those students, ranging anywhere from Spanish, Haitian Creole, Malaysian, Vietnamese, Chinese, Swahili, just to name a few. And the teachers that were present that teach this program were there that night. We had Michelle Dickey, Joy Lapp, Yesenia Sosa, and Orpha Foss, and they explain how the English Learners Program is doing. And without further ado, we'll show you what they had to say that night.
Next, we have reports, and first up is instructional service, our English language learner services.
Pardon me, sorry.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us. We're really excited to share some information about our ELO program here in Mount Pleasant.
Point it here, there you go.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, so I'll start off with introducing our EL team. We have the four of us make up the EL program, and Joy is at Lincoln and Harlan. Yesenia is our middle school EL teacher, and Orpha is our high school EL teacher, and I'm the EL teacher at Van Allen. I've been in education for 19 years. I've worked with Mount Pleasant the last 9 years because I was at the AEA as the Title III consultant. So this is my first year, but actually I've been around a while. And then not present are our paraeducators, which are really key to our program. Many of them are bilingual, and that is a huge benefit to our program. And I would like to add that Yesenia is a product of our EL program, and she is now serving the district as a teacher. So we're very proud of that.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. All right, so here's some facts about our EL population. There are 45 EL students at Lincoln and Harlan, and you'll see the languages listed below. There are 34 students at Van Allen, and 24 at the middle school, and 45 at the high school. have about 15 different languages. Here are some fun facts, Iowa stats and comparisons. There are 329 districts in Iowa. 86% have some sort of EL population ranging from 1 student all the way up to 7,698, which you can imagine is Des Moines Independent. Mount Pleasant is in the top 41% of the schools in Iowa for the highest number of ELs. And Mount Pleasant is the second highest in Great Prairie AEA, right next to Ottumwa, who's the highest, and then Sheraton, who is just below us. And then ELs account for 8.6% of Mount Key student population, and the EL graduation rate for our ELs is 81.8%. And this data comes from the Iowa Department of Education. Every district in Iowa, actually every district in the U.S. has some sort of EL plan. Iowa's plan is called the LAU plan. So no matter what district you go to in Iowa, they will have a plan, and it will include all of these components. I'm not going to go through every single component, but I do want to address the goals, the identification procedures, the description of the services that we provide, and then how ELs exit. So our Mount Pleasant EL goals are as follows, basically developing academic English, and we're concerned with the language domains of listening, speaking, writing, and reading. We want our ELs to develop their conversational English to communicate with classmates and teachers and other building staff. We want to be supportive of students learning content at an academically appropriate level. And then creating home-to-school partnerships to enhance our community and develop awareness of cultural diversity and give students pride in their bilingualism, because bilingualism, as you'll see, is very, very important. On the left, you'll see an example of social language, words like shopping, movies, sleep, hey, what'd you do over the weekend? On the right, you'll see academic language like photosynthesis, area, stanza. Those are words that I pulled out of the 4th and 5th grade curriculum. So how are English learners identified? Well, there are 2 steps. First, when families register for school, they fill out a home language survey. Depending on how they answer these 3 questions, determines whether or not we screen them with the ELPA 21 dynamic screener, which is a statewide assessment, so that all students, all ELs are identified the same way in Iowa. Occasionally, we will have students mark English and another language on the home language survey, and there's some unique situations that we're wondering, how did the student get identified? Simply because they didn't understand the home language survey, or maybe mom was married to a person who spoke Spanish, now they're divorced, that person has moved out of the home, and now the student's been identified. So it's really important when they're filling out the home language survey that they understand the questions, what it's asking, and the key is the primary language. A nice perk for all the students in Iowa doing the same process for entering and exiting is if students are coming from other ELPA states or other districts in Iowa, they're automatically placed in our programming and we don't have to reassess. All right, so we have a description of our EL services. One is the pull-out. So students are pulled out in a small group or at the middle school, high school, they're assigned an ESL class. And then we also have push-in support from our parents, which provides the native language support for some of our students. And not all of our students get push-in support. It's the ones with the highest needs, the ones that might have language needs, high language needs that they need that bilingual support. So ELs exit by scoring proficient on the summative, the ELPA 21 summative every spring. We give this to all of our students, and they need, the scale is 1 to 4 or 1 to 5, and they need a profile of 4s and 5s in each of those domains that I was talking about earlier, listening, reading, writing, and speaking. This test tests their language in the academic setting. So they have to listen to a science presentation and then answer questions. They something they read. They're reading about historical context. So it's a very rigorous test. So when they exit, they should be prepared to be successful in the academic setting without support. And then of course we have standards, curriculum, and strategies that we use in our program. It's the meat and potatoes of what we do. We work with the ELP standards. Again, this is what Iowa has chosen. There are other standards you may have heard about. They're called WIDA standards, and there's a few others that aren't frequently used. But Iowa is an ELPA state, and so we have the ELP standards. And then for curriculum, we're really gap fillers. So we're meeting the students where they are. We use a variety of strategies and resources to bring students up to speed and try to close that gap quickly. And so some of the curriculum that we have available are National Geographic, which suits some of our newcomer students, Flashlight 360, which is a speaking and writing app, and then we make CKLA or BLA connections at all levels. And then some strategies. Currently, Joy and I, for example, are going through the letters training, which is an incentive by the district to teach students how to read. And then there's models like the Freyer model for vocabulary. We are well trained in speaking frames and writing, using graphic organizers to support writing, all of which will help students build their skills and be successful in the content area. Some supplemental resources that we use are, like I said, our newcomers need the most support. So we have Rosetta Stone, which is a language learning app. We have Imagine Learning, which is a reading program. And then we use Time Kettle earbuds for students that are listening at a level 1 or 2 on that scale of 1 to 5 for listening. And the main reason behind that is because if we wait until they're proficient before, or while they're learning English and we stick them in the content area, they're getting nothing out of the content. But if you give them the earbuds, it allows them to take in the content in a language they understand while they're learning English. And eventually, as those ELPA scores go up, that support is pulled away. And then we offer other unique opportunities. So our students in our Spanish class, which are taught by Nadia Bolton and Christina Cortez, they joined native Spanish speakers in Orfa's EL class. And so they both were building on their strengths and the languages that they were the best at to support and help each other, which is like a goosebump moment for me. That's amazing. And then Yesenia and I are partnering. Her middle school students and my 5th graders are pen pals, and they're writing back and forth, and they're working on their writing skills. So there's all kinds of ways we can be creative to support our EL's needs. And then, of course, it takes a village, right? And so our school leaders are assisting with registration, seeking connections to community resources, supporting family needs, supporting professional development needs and educational resources. Classroom teachers are providing accommodations. They're making content understandable for our ELs. They're translating information going home from classrooms using like Google Translate tools and then some of our bilingual people in the district. And then monitoring student progress. Our EL teachers are advocating for student needs, providing explicit instruction, supporting classroom teachers. That's a big one. They have questions, we're there to help. Identifying those accommodations, assisting with parent-teacher conferences and translation needs, monitoring student progress, and communicating EL programming to parents, because that's part of the logistics. When they are in the program, their parents have to be notified in a language best understood. And then our support staff is amazing, and they're doing a lot of hard work behind the scenes. They're translating for families, they're assisting students in class at their para, and then our secretaries and our admin are coding and assisting with record keeping. So all of these things have to work together to build a really robust EL program. And speaking of achieving without limits, our ELs, they face a lot of challenges. And so they come with a lot of resiliency already. They've been through things that some of us can't even imagine. And so they're very resilient, they're very brave, they're very forward thinking. have a lot of potential because of their varied experiences and backgrounds. They have, traveled from different countries, sometimes multiple countries, and so they come to us with a lot of experience. And bilingualism, in my opinion, is a superpower. They have double vocabulary stored in their brain. A typical English speaker has 25 to 30,000 words in your head, and an EL could have up to 60,000 words and be able to switch back and forth in those two languages. So that's pretty amazing. And then it makes them marketable for many careers such as, medical, banking, insurance, education, all the things. And so when we think about our portrait of a panther, our students already have a lot of resilience. We want to keep building that, but we really want to foster their communication in both languages. And so one way the district is thinking about doing that, you'll probably hear more about this later, but Iowa has an opportunity for high school students to earn a seal of biliteracy on their diploma. This isn't just for EL students. This is for students taking Spanish 1, 2, 3, and 4. So they can prove their proficiency on the EL side using ELPA and then through their Iowa assessments. But our Spanish students have an opportunity to use ACTFL. It's a different kind of program to show their proficiency in Spanish. And then, of course, ISAS, like everybody else. And so this seal can be placed on their diploma, and then they can use that in the field to make themselves marketable for whatever career they choose. So that Christina Cortez would like to lead that project, and so there might be more to come on that. And I just wanted to end with a quick video. I want you to see what this means for our students in action. And can I hit the... It might take a minute to load.
Sorry, Michelle.
It's not
here.
working?
It's here,
Yeah.
but it's not.
Oh, it's not
It's
open.
not up there. Not sure why it's
Okay.
not showing.
All right, well, it's a picture of our students in action, writing. If you're walking through classrooms, you're gonna see them reading. You're gonna see them doing fun listening activities, things to make the work engaging. You're gonna see them wrapped around with love and support from their educators. And most of all, you're gonna see them have a lot of confidence and be prepared to be successful. Do you have any questions?
I was wondering, is this on?
Yeah.
How many of your students pass out when you give them the test and they no longer need the support services?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So it takes 1 to 5 years to become proficient, depending on a student's language, how closely it matches English, and or their background. Some of the kids, like I have one student from Cambodia who had some English already in his back pocket before he came. And if they're literate in their first language or not. So students that learn to read, like in Spanish first, keep those skills cross over and they learn to read a lot quicker in English than those that come to us who don't know how to read in their first language. Some languages are only spoken, they only have the spoken form, and so that makes things go a little bit slower. So I don't have an exact number, but it's 1 to 5 years. So another thing the board and the district might want to just keep an eye on is how many of our students are still in the program after 5 years. That's the question we should be asking. Yes.
Here's,
Oh, okay.
maybe we can make this work.
partnership with the Spanish classes at the high school? How that's going?
Yeah, that's going actually really well. Ms. Olson and I partner where we bring in the Spanish students into my classroom. The native speakers are able to help my students that are bilingual with pronunciation and how to write sentences. And what I love about that collaboration is that in that moment, no one is laughing at each other. There is just this, I don't know, partnership where both groups, whether they are Spanish native speakers or English native speakers, they just really want to help each other. And it's just a great moment that that we have during that time. So, yeah.
Anybody else want to share any wins or best practices that you're doing? Do you have any needs that you would like to ask for?
So actually, like I said, this is my first year, and I've been very impressed with the outpour of support and Mr. Henriksen involvement in our collaborative learning team meetings on Fridays, and Dr. Butler's support in getting the resources. If we ask for something, they trust us and they get it for us. So we really, really appreciate that. It is making a difference, and I'm so excited about getting our ELPA scores this year. It may not be a quick turnaround, but the boat's going in the right direction, so super excited.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your time.
I would just say, one of my PLP, one of my professional learning plan objectives was to better understand our English language learners, their families, their needs, and so as Michelle mentioned, I've been able to be involved in the collaborative team, which would include Nadia and Christina as well. They are amazing. You guys are amazing. Student focused and really focused on how can we help each individual student, what are the barriers, and really wanting to get those EL kids to pass that ELPA and get into that, spend more time in the general student population. And these guys, they do an amazing job.
Thank you.
I'm just wondering, are you getting the parents involved at all to help them try to assist the students? I mean, you didn't talk anything about the parents' involvement or anything like that?
Yeah, that's a really great question. And community and parent involvement is huge in any child's education. When we have parent-teacher conferences, our parents are concerned mostly about behavior, believe it or not. The first thing they ask is, how is my child behaving? And they sincerely want to know. And then we start talking about academics, and then they kind of get this deer in the headlight look. And they're like, I'm really sorry, we can't help our child at home. I wish we could do more, but we don't know how to speak English. What can we do? And so we tell them things they can do, like practice your math facts, for example. Read in your native language, because the more vocabulary they know in their first language, the more they're going to pick up on in the second language. I send comprehension questions home that families could use to talk with their students about while they're reading. Do you have other?
Parent communication.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
So I keep constant communication with my parents through either I text them, I email them, I call them. They have my personal phone number in case they need something or they have any questions. Since I speak Spanish, I am their comfort support. So
I'm always in communication with the parents. For my students, they have my personal number because they just feel more comfortable texting me or calling me, and I'm totally fine with that. I've become like a family with all of them. A lot of them think I'm their mom because I bring them that security, like Yesenia said. What I love about the community of the bilingual students is that they see us teachers as someone that should be respected and honored, and that we are making a difference in their children. So as soon as we call them and we say, your child has this grade, or your child has respond immediately. So we do have a lot of support from our ESL community.
Also, like we did the Read Across America, my parent and I worked really, really hard to make sure every single parent knew about it. And if they weren't able to come because they were working, we put those students with other staff members that they were comfortable with. And like our students that aren't speaking barely in English right now, they're still emerging. We put them with a bilingual para, for example. One thing, I did just think of one thing that the board could help with. When we have parent-teacher conferences, it's nice to have a day option and a night option, because some parents work during the day, some work at night, so it's nice to have both. I know that's probably the same for many, many parents, but especially for our EL families. So just having a wide variety of options for them to come. And we had a really great turnout at parent-teacher conferences.
I have just one additional question.
Sure.
Speaking of families and community needs, do you think that we have an adequate amount of resources in the community to help EL families outside of what the district is able to offer them? I mean, do we have public resources out in the community for that?
So I don't know a lot, since I'm new, I don't know a lot about the Welcome Center, but I hear a lot about the Welcome Center. And from what I gather, you know, they provide adult ESL classes and support for housing, and the connections are almost more important than anything. Also, Martha Peterson has been a go-to person. For example, one student at the elementary, we learned she needed glasses. Family didn't have transportation, they didn't have the funding, and we gathered up what we needed to get that particular student glasses, so that wasn't another barrier for that particular student. So in my experience, I feel like there's a plethora of resources, but you know, maybe, you know, I don't know what all the needs are. Like Mr. Hendrickson said, we're still learning and growing with what our families need. Do you guys have anything to add to that? Community resources? Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
Did you learn anything from this episode? I know I sure did. It opened my eyes to a topic that I don't spend a lot of time thinking about. And maybe you do, maybe you don't, but hopefully today or this evening or whenever you watch this, it does make you think. And I think the teachers are very passionate about their job and their students, and they shared that with us during the Board of Education meeting. Thank you for watching. Thank you to my sponsors, Griner Auto Body, Car Doctor, McDonald Boneyard, Hinshaw Trailer Cells, Girling Repair, B&B Propane and the family of Jet Stops, the Dutch Market, and Coffee Talk. I'm your host, John Bain. Stay friendly, Southeast Iowa.